Uganda had one of the world's strictest border controls throughout the coronavirus pandemic, and that had a toll on the tourism sector. While businesses are trying to recover, another outbreak has hit the country in Ebola, and the impact is being felt.
We are already experiencing cancellations, especially in the hotel industry, hotel sector, but also for those who are booking in tours into the country. There are a few cases of cancellation that we've experienced.
Immaculate had a client that had to cut her stay short for fear of an outburst in the number of Ebola cases.
She was supposed to begin her safari on the 1st of October. And the news that broke out of Ebola, she definitely quoted it from one of the stations in Uganda. As much as we tried to convince her that Mubende is far from Kampala and the route she's going to use for her trip is totally opposite, there was something else floating on social media that cases have been discovered in Kampala. There is a case in Kasangati. So she quoted all that and sent it to me and said, at this point, I'm flying out.
Misinformation regarding the Ebola outbreak is hurting the industry even more. Immaculate Wampamba, a tour operator, says
Misinformation, especially on social media, where people just quote random things, Ebola discovered in Kampala, 2 cases reported here and there. And definitely there is no way, if there is a case in Kampala, other people won't be affected. So it is scary. I would actually advise most people to put out what they are definitely sure about than just picking something randomly from God knows where and you put it out there.
According to Immaculate, tourists are making cancellations of their bookings based on information they read on different social media platforms.
A certain article of social media that is actually not official, that there was a case reported in Kasangati and there is also a case that was reported in Kampala. Later on, I see Minister of Health saying it is not true. So those 2 articles are actually sending back a client back to her country who would otherwise be here if there was no misinformation.
It's a challenge both the Minister of Tourism and Health acknowledge and are finding a solution to. The Minister of Health, through its spokesperson Emanuela Inebiona, who we spoke to on phone, had this to say in regards to the misinformation about the Ebola outbreak.
Keep refuting those rumors, as I said, and we keep providing timely, accurate information. Like the rumor on the case in Kasangati, we are able to respond and it tested negative. We have no Ebola case in Kampala as of yet.
According to Immaculate of Terrace Tours, those that had booked have cancelled and others are not making any bookings, while others are shortening their stays.
Some have cancelled, they are not even convinced to postpone their trips. The ones who are already here, who hadn't begun their trips, are flying back. And they are telling us, just refund whatever you can, we cannot stay here. Then there are those who are inquiring for the year 2023. Surprisingly now, they are inquiring from us to give them packages for our neighboring countries, not Uganda, because they prefer to go where it is Ebola-free than come into Uganda.
With official figures at only 25 cases, the negative impacts could get worse should the outbreak grow even higher.
Should Ebola become a more significant problem than it is currently, it will have a very drastic effect on the tourism sector.
Tourism was the country's biggest foreign exchange earner as of 2020, but with the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and the closure of the economy, the figures dropped drastically. And when it was just beginning to catch up, it's been hit by another crisis whose consequences cannot be determined now. Robert Indiam Hachi for BTM News Today.